Well, the challenge, of course, is to make sure that the vaccine, which is the scarcest resource we currently have on Earth, is optimally allocated. And we heard all sorts of stories about how patients are canceling their appointments to get the vaccine 20 to 30% of the time. So what that's resulting in is an environment where the vaccine is just going to someone who happens to be in the right place at the right time, or it's happening to go to people who are physically able or financially able to wait in line for extended periods of time, or worse, it's going to people who just happen to be in the phone of the vaccine provider who just wants to make sure the vaccine doesn't go to waste or it goes to waste. None of these things are optimal outcomes. And so in a very short amount of time, beginning of January, I was having a conversation with Dr. Ian Lipkin, who runs the Center for Infection and Immunity at Columbia. And we decided there needs to be a nationwide universal wait list for anyone that wants to sign up, and any provider that has excess doses can just indicate the number of doses they have, and ultimately when they expire, and our system will programmatically text the appropriate number of people to make sure that every dose is maximized.
Sounds like that makes perfect sense. Curious, though, what have you learned about how the U.S. organizes and distributes vaccines? Are you surprised with how it's gone?
You know, I think that this is the most difficult logistical challenge that we have globally. And I have, everyone that I've interacted with at the federal level, state level, local level is working 24/7. Most of the time we're speaking in the evenings on a Saturday. So look, I think that it is obviously not the smoothest rollout, but it's largely tied to the fact that this is the logistical challenge trying to solve the problem of our generation. And how do you prepare for that?
Yeah, I hear you. The federal government is now in the process of building their own website, obviously. Have they reached out to you for advice? And if they did, what'd you tell them?
Yeah, we've spoken to people at the Biden administration. We've spoken to people at various state and local governments. And we talked a little bit about health equity and how the queuing-based model that we've introduced is playing an important role, because what's happening is there are communities in this country that are vaccine hesitant. Many of these communities are some of the very same communities that have been ravaged by coronavirus, where they've literally had 3 times the national death rates, the Black, Brown, Hispanic, and Native communities. And one of the advantages you have when you have a queuing-based model is that if you have a population that was previously vaccine hesitant, who's now becoming open to getting the vaccine because their friends are getting the vaccine and they're okay, and they come late to the game, some of these people are not very technology savvy, and they can't hit refresh 1,000 times a second. And so being able to use a queuing-based model, what happens is in perpetuity, you can put the 1As ahead of the 1Bs, ahead of the 1Cs forever. So if someone comes in and they're vulnerable and from a high priority category, it's like having a first class ticket. And so that's one of the things that they appreciate. And they've been making introductions to vaccine sites, and we're just trying to get them all on as quickly as we can.
Cyrus Massoumi, thanks for your contribution. Have a great night. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.